Lolita is a 56-year-old orca at the Miami Seaquarium. Lolita has been performing there for 52 years. So when she was a baby, 4 years old, she was captured and taken from the Puget Sound, which is a deep inlet of the eastern North Pacific Ocean waters. And you guys probably know this, but in their natural environments, orcas stay with their mothers for life. So she was ripped away from her mother and her family unit, and then transported thousands of miles, and then dumped in a tiny, shallow, barren concrete tank at this marine park, Seaquarium. She's been living in this 20-foot deep tank for 52 years. Why? Well, you know why. For the purpose of entertaining us. So people who go to the sea park can have fun watching her perform unnatural tricks she was forced to do for them. And in contrast, in their natural homes, orcas swim up to 140 miles a day and dive thousands of feet below the surface of their native waters. But Lolita has spent over a half of a century being held captive and performing in a tank of water. Animal activists have been trying to set Lolita free for years. For decades, protesters have complained about the care Lolita has received. And members of the Lumi Nation, the Pacific Northwest indigenous people, have been lobbying for years to bring Lolita home to a seaside sanctuary near waters where she was captured back in 1970 and where her family still swims today. 1970 is when she was ripped away from her environment and her family. So here's the news. It was reported last week, Lolita will now be retiring. What does that mean, retiring? For now, all it means is that Miami Seaquarium will no longer stage shows using her. And this is under an agreement made with the United States Department of Agriculture. Now, you should know that the Miami Seaquarium is now under new management. The new owner is called the Dolphin Company. According to the company's news release, the Dolphin Company operates 27 other parks and habitats in Mexico, Argentina, the Caribbean, Italy, and Florida. According to NPR, MS Leisure, a subsidiary of the Dolphin Company, said as it announced the completion of its Seaquarium acquisition that Lolita and a companion white-sided dolphin, Lee, will no longer be exhibited under its new license with the United States Department of Agriculture. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen to Lolita? And how about the other 70-plus marine mammals at the Miami Seaquarium? And how long do we want to continue holding animals in captivity? And why would anyone ever want to patronize these sea parks? It's just so sad. And it's so infuriating what we do to these animals. Attorney Jared Goodman of PETA said, PETA is calling for this to be the first step toward releasing Lolita and Lee, that's the dolphin sharing the tank with Lolita, to a seaside sanctuary before this long-suffering orca ends up dying in the same cramped tank she's been confined to for over half a century. It stated in a PETA press release last week, Lolita is reportedly suffering from pneumonia and is in danger of not receiving adequate care. The current attending veterinarian, Shelby Loss, reportedly possessed no orca experience when she was hired in 2019. She left in 2020, but was rehired last year after the Seaquarium fired its longtime head veterinarian after she expressed concern about the extent of animal suffering at the park. A whistleblower also shared with PETA horrific photographs of a 19-year-old dolphin, a Baco, who drowned after his rostrum became entangled in a net separating two pools. A Baco was one of 6 animals who died at the Seaquarium in 2019 and 2020, 3 from trauma-related cases, including to the head and neck with hemorrhaging. This press release indicates that in September, PETA obtained a 17-page federal inspection report revealing many animal welfare violations at the Seaquarium, including critical issues with the pools and enclosures for the dolphins, the seals, and the killer whale. In addition, the inspection report revealed poor water quality and inadequate shade for the animals. Also, dolphins have been injured and some had died because incompatible animals were often housed together. Lolita displays repetitive and abnormal behavior, which, according to marine mammal experts, indicates severe psychological trauma. This aquarium is under further investigation by the United States Department of Agriculture. And listen to this. Lolita and other animals were fed rotting fish. So their only food source was rancid. Local 10 News reports a former employee, this is good, a former employee of the Miami Seaquarium said they are concerned about the killer whale Lolita and predicted she may die in the next 6 months. The former employee said, "She, Lolita, just doesn't look good. She doesn't feel good. So, if we can get her stable, I think she needs to go sooner than later." So he means now that she's retired, let's get her the hell out of there and to a seaside sanctuary. This former employee also says, "It makes me feel disgusted. It makes me feel ashamed to have ever been at Miami Seaquarium." An inside source tells Local 10 News that Seaquarium has now placed Lolita on a 24-hour watch. So you guys know now Lolita is in critical condition. So is it even possible for Lolita to be safely moved thousands of miles back to her native waters or to a seaside sanctuary when she's so critically ill? The Seaquarium released a Facebook Live video last week insisting that Lolita is getting better, and I think they're liars. And the former employee disagrees with them that she's getting better. Again, from Local 10 News, the reporter asked the former employee, listen to this, "What does that video show you of Toki?" That's Lolita. He replies, "Just her behavior alone is telling us she's not happy. That's not her voice. That's not her vocals. She's swimming. She's sinking a little bit. She's kind of slow. She's not very attentive. That's not her. Something's wrong with her." And then the reporter asks, "Does that alarm you?" And the response is 100%. Absolutely. Something's wrong with that animal. A recent USDA inspection report from June revealed that Lolita's long-time attending veterinarian of 23 years was concerned when the newly hired curator made Lolita perform fast swims and big jumps despite her age and a jaw injury, and that her daily intake of food was reduced by 30 pounds a day by the new curator. The reporter said that she and other animals in the park were fed rotting fish for 8 days without her longtime vet's approval. The former employee claims that Toki's health has been steadily deteriorating for the past year. Quote, "I bet she'll die in the next 6 months. I don't think she'll make it that much longer." A source told the news that the doctor that is taking care of Lolita now has barely 6 years of veterinary experience and has never worked with orcas. So the big news here is that Lolita, the 56-year-old orca, is retired. Animal advocates, of course, were hoped that given the findings in the inspection report from the USDA, the federal government will support her relocation. But I don't know. I think they're just going to wait it out until she dies. And even if they approve relocating her, in her critically ill state, would she survive that transport? These injuries, these illnesses, these deaths of marine mammals at sea parks happen all the time. You're not going to hear about it all the time, but I'm telling you, these animals are constantly suffering and frequently dying in the parks. And if taking babies from their families is not bad enough, and then transporting them. Have you ever wondered or asked yourself how these marine mammals, orcas, dolphins, get from the oceans into the marine parks? Most people don't want to know the process by which these animals are captured and transported. The group called Last Chance for Animals, I love this organization. Love them. On their website, on their page about marine parks, injuries that often occur in marine parks include dorsal fin collapse, also known as drooping fin syndrome, due to low water levels, skin peeling off as a result of overchlorinated water, eye irritation caused by chlorine, copper sulfate, and other tank chemicals, stress-related injuries and deaths. Stress-related deaths are common. Some animals even commit suicide by crashing into the side of the tank repeatedly, thereby shattering their skulls. Others are given antidepressants so that the audience will not see their despair. It says here, marine parks are like prisons to marine mammals. They're like prisons. What can you do? What can you do to help? Don't visit marine parks. Don't take your family to marine parks. Don't support this cruelty. It's easy.